Hello, everybody. Welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee.
And I'm Joy Evans.
And today we're taking a look at a classic game from 20 years ago. Who's catching the light in a little different way. This is a game that's been reprinted. This is the third reprint of it.
Wow.
I think that this is actually the 20th anniversary of the game coming out. Nexus Ops here.
Yep.
So this is one that I've played for a long time. And have you were more recently introduced
This
to
is the first version I played of it.
Okay, and I've played both previous versions, Avalon Hill and Fantasy Flight. So we're going to talk a little about that. I'm going to show you how this classic plays, war game, skirmish game of sorts, and then we'll give you our thoughts. Here's Nexus Ops set up on the table. This is my personal player area over here with my player board and all the units of my type, along with some of the rubium that I control and several cards that are in my hand that I'll explain later. The central board area here is made up of different hex tiles. There are your home bases, there are double hexes, and then there are single hexes that are all randomized out here. And then in the center is going to be the monolith, a very impressive 3D sculpt here in this Renegade reprint here, the nicest that it's ever looked. But a little hard to see from the top down there, so hope you got a good view. The goal of the game is to be the first person to reach 12 points. Points can be accomplished by winning these battle cards here. If you are the attacker and you win a battle, you get a point, a basic point mission card here, but there are also secret mission cards that you'll be drawing at the end of every one of your turns, which are going to give you different things to aim for, destroying certain types of units, fighting in certain ways, and if you accomplish these, you can take secret mission points as well. So at the top of the round, you're going to go through the deploy phase, in which you're going to spend all the rubium that you've been mining, because you're trying to control this planet to harvest this delightful rubium. So as you spend more money, you're able to recruit more troops. So you pay whatever the costs are that is shown on your player board here. Humans cost 2, fungoids and crystallines 3. So if I purchased all of these on my turn, the other thing you can do at in the top of the deploy phase is that you can play cards that are shown here, deployment phase cards. You have to save the battle cards for later. So these are the energized cards, which have the game-breaking abilities. Forced March says, I can play this to move 2 of my units and extra space this turn, and I'd like to do that. Because the next action that you're going to do after deploying is moving. You will move units, and I can declare I would like for this guy and this guy to be able to move extra spaces this round here. I'm going to have these guys march into this battle, 1 space. The Rock Strider has a special ability which allows it to move 2 spaces through rocks, and I also gave it a forced march, so I'm going to bring it into this battle. This guy is going to move 2 spaces. And then all of my other units can move 1 space if they so desire. And once everything has moved, you are done with the movement phase. Now you do the exploration phase. Any of these exploration tiles that you have moved into but not flipped over, you will reveal right away. It might give you a mine like this, which is going to give you more rubium, or it might give you a one-time bonus like one of these nice rock striders out onto the board. After exploration, you'll move to battle. You're going to resolve all the battles that you are part of. And after battling, which I'll talk more in detail in a second, you're going to mine, so rubium, for all of the printed values of the areas you control, not contested areas where there are a tie here, because battles don't have to end with 1 wiped out. So if there's contested areas, you don't get to mine that amount of rubium. And then lastly, you're going to draw up a mission card. If you have any units that have moved into the central monolith here, you also can draw some of these energized cards if you want. When you battle, you're going to choose which of these spots that you are currently in that you'd like to resolve first. So let's go to this one here just for demonstration purposes. Battle is going to be done in order from right, or the strongest, most expensive unit, down to the weakest, and players will roll simultaneously for all matching units. We do see that the opposite side has a lava leaper, so red's going to roll for their lava leaper, and you see that it shows on the chart here how it's going to roll for hits. So 3 or greater, this lava leaper does a damage, and I get to choose my casualty. I'm going to take out one of my humans because they only hit on 6s. Then it's going to come to rock striders. I'm just going to roll here, and I have to hit on 4 or higher. I take them out, and I do 2 hits, so all of these are destroyed. I have won this battle, meaning that I could take one of these cards here, this objective that says win a battle, or I can look in my secret objectives here and see if I completed one of these. I did not win a battle in a magma pool, that's the lava spaces, but I did send in the humans. Win a battle with at least 1 human surviving on my side, which I've got plenty. So I could play this one instead. You notice that there are red hex and white hex cards. The reason for that is if I play this card, I cannot take the basic battle card. But I am going to check to see, did I accomplish any or many of my white hex cards here. Fungoid Slayer. I did destroy a fungoid in that battle. Dominate the plains. Do I currently control more rock plains than any other player? I do. So you can see that a single battle can cascade into a lot of points here. The loser of each battle, however, is going to draw 2 of these Energize cards, which can give them special abilities in battle or in deployment. Now, that's the general idea of the game. There are many variants that come in this version of it, so you can also play with a version where not only can you get points from winning a battle, but you can play a King of the Hill version. If you control the monolith at the end of your turn, you can take one of these 1-point cards. However, it's going to give every other player one of these Energize cards. Or there are special exploration tokens that give you more. You can start the game with either 0 secret missions or a variant where you can you start with one at the beginning of the game. At the end of each round, instead of drawing a secret mission and adding it to your hand, you can play a variant where you draw 2 and choose which one you want to keep instead. There are many variants. In fact, you can also turn this board over to the other side. And now instead of humans, you have clones. Instead of crystallines, you have shardians, so on and so forth. And they all have different abilities that function in different ways. There's a good amount of variety for such a simple game system. But I think that's enough there. You get an idea of how it plays. Let's go back up to our thoughts. I think one of the biggest strengths of this is that it has a very simple round structure.
Right.
Right. You put out troops, you move, blah, 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 you go through it. It's right there on the player rate. Always has been since the first printing of it. And people just get it, right? I think that intuitively, there's enough of these types of games out there. This is not necessarily getting points for being innovative.
Right.
But it's getting points for being approachable and quick.
It is. It's straightforward. I mean, movements, and then the ones that give variants of the rules are also very simple. Like movement is this. Unless you are the dragon, or unless you're whatever. They have small variations, but nothing's overcomplicated. This does not get in the way of itself.
And it's just fun little surprises like, if you have one of those rubium dragons on the monolith, they can move anywhere.
That.
And you're like, oh yeah. And there's a specific secret mission card called Death from Above. You send your dragon to someone else's base, and you just wipe it out. And you're like, yes, that felt so good. Also, that dragon's stuck there, and it's going to get wiped out.
Yeah.
And now your opponent might have a secret mission card called Dragon Slayer, where they're going to get 3 points for killing a rubium dragon. But you got 4 points for performing Death from Above. And I think that, to me, is the magic of the game, is those secret mission cards.
I agree. Sometimes I have a love and hate with secret missions, because sometimes I feel like they push you into a style of play that you may not want to do. Mm-hmm. But these just make it fun, because you don't know what they have. It doesn't give you rails as much as really fun suggestions.
That's true. Yeah, you could win this game technically, I think, by just winning lots of little battles.
Right.
Right. Those 1-point cards at a time, they stack up and they add up. But there's just such a joy that comes when you're like, wow, if I win a battle with nothing but humans, the worst units in the game, I could get like 3 points from this. I'm going to reconsider my strategy away from sound, good tactical warfare knowledge, right? Away from strategery and into just, it's 3 points. Let's see.
Right. I know. I like that. Even with battling, when you could take out another unit, you're like, do I take one out that's already gone? That's more powerful? Or do I take one out that will make it to where it doesn't go next time? I like that.
That's true, because
all the decisions.
I sort of explained the battle order, right? You start with the strongest and go to the weakest. As you take hits, if you just keep taking out your weakest, well, they're the last ones to fire.
Yes. And
they could win you the battle. They only hit on 6s.
Right.
But maybe you've got some of those energized cards that add 2 to a die roll. And now they hit on, one of those could hit on a 4. And now that's 50% likely.
Yeah.
So, I might sacrifice a more expensive unit and say, okay, well, you take the hit so that this guy, just little soldier, Private Frederick over there, this is for my dragon.
And that's the thing. When you come down to it, the dice rolls are what this are about. And yes, it's hard to hit on a 6. But those moments where it's hard to hit on a 6, and you do, it still makes games great after all this time.
This is a game that creates stories, it creates memories, it's always led to memorable plays. And it's a mix of just the right things. Ease of teach, ease of management. That battle system, the battle order is superb because it also leads into the secret objectives.
Yep.
Just all around, I think this is great. This particular edition is my favorite printing of the game.
Really? Okay.
I own at home the original Avalon Hill print, which has these same sculpts. From 10 years ago, 2015 Fantasy Flight games, they upped it a little bit. The original art was atrocious.
Okay.
And so 10, 12 years ago, so Fantasy Flight modernized it a bit. Even that one looks dated now, right?
Really?
Yeah. But I like that with this particular printing, they went back to the goofier sculpts instead of the more monstrous, serious-looking sculpts, because this game is kind of goofy.
Right.
They did things like they put art on the energized cards, those special ability cards. The Avalon Hill did not have that.
They didn't.
Just a big yellow block that said, move 2 extra units this turn.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So those nice touches. They include a lot of variants where if you control the monolith, you can play with a King of the Hill variant where you take a victory point card for controlling it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you get a choice, 2 energized cards, or a victory point card, but then you're giving everybody else an energized card. And I love, that's the thing, is like these variants were around in the FFG, the Fantasy Flight Games reprint, but they just threw them all in here, different map setups, different configurations. And I like most of the variations. I won't play with the Nexus, where the middle, instead of being a monolith you control, is just this whirlwind that's going to throw troops around randomly.
Oh, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Don't like that. But variants I think when we played it, I said, hey, we're going to do this. Start the game with 1 secret mission. That wasn't a basic rule. You start with 0 secret missions at the end of your first turn, you drew 1. Why not just expedite it? Expedite your knowledge of what you're going to be aiming for by 1 round.
Get a jump start. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So I think this, for me, is the definitive edition, as someone who's played all of them. And for you, it sounds like this game... Does this game feel 20 years old to you?
It does not. And that's the thing. I know... in some ways it does because it doesn't overcomplicate itself. That's what a lot of games do. They kind of get in their own way. Some don't, but this one does just focus on this is going to be fun. And again, when you're 3 or 4 turns into it, you got that turn order. I think it's actually, it's right there on the side. This is what you do. Boom. Next person, boom. And you keep moving around. It feels good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does feel new.
So, final thoughts and score.
Final thoughts? I was surprised at how much I do like this. I like this style of game that it's got enough to keep, it's not just dice rolls, because you've got those cards to mitigate, you've got those goals. I'm coming in at 8.5 on this because I really do like this. I think it could go up as I play it more because this is one that is a battle game that I won't hesitate teaching because you give people the rules and stuff and a couple turns in, they're like, got it. Let's do it. And that is what makes a game like this feel good. And I like anything that comes down to, okay, roll this. And people are on the edge of their seat seeing what you're going to do. And if you miss, they pop that card +2. Come on, those moments are great. And that's what game is about.
Oh, there's so many good cards. Score-wise, I'm giving this a 9.
Wow. Okay.
This is one of my favorite games. And it's a little bit out of genre of what I am typically known for liking. Mm-hmm. But... what this does for me is I grew up playing Axis and Allies and a lot of Risk and everything. This is like an hour to, if you're playing with some slow players, hour and a half.
Right.
Even at 4 players, I think that the game just keeps moving. It's very smooth. And I think that, the only potential negative I could really say is if you don't like the fact that someone might sneak a victory, you're at 10 points, you're like almost there. You're sitting there going, once it's my turn, I've got 2 points locked in. And someone drops 7 points on their turn because they take out a dragon in a magma pool with a human that does the killing blow, and they're just like, whoop, 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 whoop. But to me, that's exciting.
Right.
The game's always on the line, even when someone is behind by 7 points. For me, that's a feature. That is what
I agree.
It leans into the silliness and leans into what we, some people don't love the term Ameritrash, but
yeah, I embrace it.
That's what the genre has been called since before I was born, and it'll be called that till after I die. And I think that this game is, for me, like the perfect exemplar of the genre. And like you said, one that I can teach, knowing it
Exactly.
won't take 6 hours.
Quickly, yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I wholeheartedly recommend it, and I wholeheartedly recommend this production of it.
So good.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to paint these. That's why I like you get these and you're like, these are perfect the way they are.
They'll glow under a black
Yeah.
light. All of those little touches.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So anyway, there you go. That's thoughts here. A high score of a 9 giving Nexus Ops a seal of excellence from us here at the Dice Tower, and especially this particular printing of it. So thanks for coming by, folks. My name's Chris Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
And until next time, have yourselves a Rubium-tastic day.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Bassett.
Number books aren't as fun as picture books.
They're not. But paint by numbers, it's got them both.
It's pictures and numbers. You're right.
I know.
You've cracked the code. Take that, Da Vinci.
He did, he actually did paint by numbers. They discovered that when they got rid of one of his paintings. Underneath there were numbers that were written by Michelangelo. Did Da Vinci paint the Mona Lisa? Neither one of us know, do we?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Leonardo
Oh, yeah.
da Vinci.
The turtle. When you say it like that, I know he painted it. People come here for education, Chris.